I never thought my marriage would implode right there at the Christmas dinner table, with the whole family watching. David's best friend, Lucas, leaned in with that cocky smirk of his and whispered just loud enough for me to hear. Told you she'd break down. Wives like her always do. David, my husband of 8 years, pushed the envelope toward me like it was yesterday's mail. Divorce papers, neatly folded, served up with the pumpkin pie. But I didn't crumble. I didn't let a single tear fall. Instead, I reached into my tote bag and set a small, elegantly wrapped box in front of them both. Open it together, I said, my voice steady as the winter wind outside our cozy Boston suburb home. Their smug expressions froze as they tore into it. What they found inside left them speechless, faces paling like ghosts in the holiday glow. And just like that, the tables turned permanently. A year earlier, I would have sworn our life was solid. Not fireworks every night, but stable, like the old brownstone we shared in Cambridge. David worked long hours as a mid-level exec in a financial firm downtown, handling investments for high-net-worth clients. I was the one keeping the home fires burning, planning our holidays, our weekends away, even though it felt like I was the only one rowing the boat. We'd met in college, back when he was all charm and ambition. And I thought that's what marriage was, weathering the storms together, even if they felt like endless drizzles. My closest friend, Sarah, saw through it sooner than I did. She'd pull me aside at brunches and say, Emily, why are you always flying solo at these parties? And when he does show up, it's like he's already checked out. I'd brush it off with a laugh. He's just swamped at work. Sarah, you know how cutthroat finance is. But her worried glances stuck with me. Like seeds planted in soil I wasn't ready to till. The red flags started piling up. Though quiet at first, but impossible to ignore. David's late nights at the office turned into a routine. His phone buzzing with texts he'd step away to answer in hushed tones. And Lucas, his buddy from business school, was suddenly everywhere, crashing our dinners. Lingering too long with those cryptic jabs. You're a real trooper, Emily, he'd say with a wink that didn't reach his eyes. Bet you could fake a smile through anything. I'd ask what he meant, but he'd pivot like a pro, leaving me unsettled. Even David's mom, Mrs. Thompson, started giving me the cold shoulder. She used to call me honey during our Sunday visits to her place in the suburbs, but now it was just Emily, clipped and distant. Invites to family gatherings dried up, or she'd bow out early with some flimsy excuse about a headache. One afternoon, while sorting laundry in our upstairs bedroom, a crumpled receipt tumbled from David's blazer pocket. I almost tossed it, but curiosity nagged. Unfolding it, my breath caught. Dinner for two at that upscale Italian spot in Back Bay, on a night he'd sworn he was buried in spreadsheets. My pulse raced as I sat on the bed's edge, staring at the details: a bottle of expensive Chianti, a dessert shared. It hit like a gut punch, but I shoved it down. Maybe it was a client thing. When he got home that evening, I slid it across the kitchen island during our quiet dinner. Found this in your jacket, I said, keeping my tone light. He glanced at it, chuckled dismissively. Oh, that? Client dinner. Big account closed that night, had to celebrate. His eyes met mine, unflinching, and I wanted so badly to buy it. Okay, I murmured, poking at my salad. But doubt lingered like fog over the Charles River. Why the secrecy? Why did Lucas's smirking face pop into my head? Sarah wasn't buying it when I confided the next day over coffee. Emily, this stinks. He's gaslighting you, I can smell it from here. I shook my head, clinging to denial. It's probably nothing. Marriage isn't always smooth sailing. But those cracks widened. I let it slide because I thought love meant patching things up, not ripping them open. Little did I know, the fracture was already a chasm, with David and Lucas plotting on the other side. The unease gnawed at me, turning quiet evenings into silent battles in my mind. The receipt haunted me like a bad dream. I pulled it out the next morning, tracing the printed words as if they'd reveal some hidden truth. Was I paranoid? David had always been slick with explanations, making me feel like the overthinker in the room. But I needed clarity. That evening, as he lounged on the sectional scrolling stocks on his phone, I sat beside him, forcing a casual smile. About that receipt, sure it was just work? He didn't look up. Emily. Seriously? I told you. Client stuff. You're blowing this out of proportion. My throat tightened. You usually mention those meetings. Why hide this one? He sighed, setting his phone down with exaggerated patience. It was spur of the moment. Not everything's a conspiracy. The receipt's handwritten note, amazing evening. Let's repeat soon, burned in my pocket. But his calm demeanor made me doubt my own eyes. Maybe I was turning into that jealous stereotype he joked about early in our marriage. A few days later, Lucas dropped by unannounced. As usual, sprawling on our couch like he paid the mortgage. His eyes gleamed with that odd mix of amusement and pity. You know, Emily, ignorance is bliss sometimes. Dig too deep, and you might not like the dirt. I stared. What does that mean? He grinned wider. Just saying, enjoy the good times while they last. He slapped David on the back and switched topics, but his words echoed, chipping away at my facade. Our home felt like a pressure cooker. Every laugh forced, every silence loaded. Sarah kept nudging, let me help you dig. I don't trust that snake. I wavered, torn between loyalty and the growing void in my gut. Finally, I caved. Okay. Shadow him next time he pulls a late night. One crisp evening, David announced another overtime grind. I nodded sweetly, but texted Sarah as soon as his car pulled away. Follow him. Her call came an hour later. Voice shaky. He's not at the office. Get here now, you need to see this. My heart hammered as I drove to the address she sent. A trendy bistro in Beacon Hill. Sarah waited in the shadows across the street, phone in hand. Look, she whispered, nodding at the window. There was David, at a dimly lit table, laughing with a woman, his hand grazing hers intimately. And at the bar nearby, Lucas, nursing a drink, watching them with a satisfied grin. Sarah hit play on a recording, Lucas's voice, clear and mocking. She'll bawl her eyes out come Christmas. Hand her those papers, epic takedown. David's chuckle followed, predictable as clockwork. Won't see it coming. The world tilted. It wasn't just infidelity, it was a setup. A cruel sport. They wanted my humiliation on a silver platter. Sarah squeezed my shoulder. I'm so sorry. I swallowed the rising bile. No tears. Not for them. If they think they've got me cornered, they've just handed me the knife. Confusion flickered on her face. What now? I stared through the glass. They get the Christmas they deserve, one that'll haunt them. From that frozen moment, I played the long game. Greeted David with a peck when he slunk home late. Asked about his meeting with feigned concern. Tiring. Babe, wall-to-wall numbers. Poor you, I cooed. While inside, fury simmered. I started documenting screenshots of flirty texts from his unlocked phone. More receipts. Sarah's photos of his rendezvous. Lucas's visits ramped up. His barb sharper. Life's full of plot twists. Emily. Better buckle up. Oh. I was strapped in. With Sarah's help, I pieced together a dossier that would make a prosecutor drool. And the kicker? David's mom knew. Overheard whispers confirmed it. She'd greenlit the whole mess. Tired of pretending I fit in. Their words fueled me. She's spineless, David sneered to Lucas one night when they thought I was upstairs. Won't push back, just sob and sign. Mrs. Thompson's disdain sealed it. Should have dumped her ages ago. I added her complicity to the file. Biding my time. Fake smiles at family dinners. Holiday prep with twinkling lights masking the storm. Every act of normalcy bought me leverage. A week before Christmas, I met Mrs. Thompson for coffee at a quaint spot near her Newton home. My hands steady now. I laid it bare. I know about the affair. And that you've been in on it. She didn't flinch. You were never one of us. Emily. Just a placeholder. Her cruelty ignited something final. You'll regret that, I whispered, leaving her unsettled. That night, Sarah and I assembled the gift printouts of affairs. Embezzlement proofs from David's firm. He'd skimmed to fund his double life. Lucas's forged docs to speed the divorce. Topped with a note. Bet you didn't predict this. Wrapped in festive paper. It was my masterpiece. David grew bolder. Lucas giddier. A taunting call from him. Christmas gonna be lit. Huh. Can't wait, I replied coolly. On Christmas Eve. Mrs. Thompson barked. Dinner at 7 sharp. Full house. She thought it her victory lap. I stared at our tree that night. Calm washing over me. Sarah texted, ready. Beyond. Christmas Day dawned crisp. Our table laden with turkey and trimmings. Laughter rang hollow. Post-dessert. David slid the envelope my way. Merry Christmas. Emily. Time to move on. Lucas's whisper. Cue the waterworks. I countered with the box. Share this. They unwrapped. Faces crumpling at the exposures, affairs. Fraud. Recordings. But deeper, legal papers showing I'd quietly transferred assets via prenup loopholes, securing my half of his portfolio and tipping off his firm about the embezzlement. Mrs. Thompson gasped, clutching a page. The room iced over. Merry Christmas, I said, rising gracefully. Walked out amid their chaos, David's pleas. Lucas's fury. Her demands. Sarah idled outside. How was it? Poetic. As we drove, freedom bloomed. But that was just the opener. David chased me down the driveway, grabbing my arm. Emily. Wait, this is insane. I turned. Unflappable. You want it out. Here it is. You've ruined me, he sputtered. Fair trade, I shrugged. Inside. Lucas raged. You said she'd fold. Mrs. Thompson, will sue. But the gift had wings, copies to partners. Authorities. Investigations loomed. Weeks later. Fallout hit hard. David's summons for fraud charges arrived. His job evaporated. Lucas's rep tanked viral. Leaked audio branded him toxic. Clients fleeing. Mrs. Thompson's social circle shunned her after my public donation to a rival charity. Note attached, for women deemed placeholders. Daniel begged at Sarah's door one rainy night. I lost it all, please. Start over. On his knees. Tears flowing, the irony. You only miss what you can't control, I said. Closed the door on his sobs. Revenge wasn't euphoria, it was closure. The pain that drove me reshaped me stronger. Unyielding. They'd bet I'd shatter. Instead, they did. And in the quiet after, I rebuilt on my terms. No looking back.